Okay, Tokyo Game Show 2025. Microsoft has announced that Forza Horizon 6 is coming next year, and it's going to be based in, you guessed it, Tokyo. Beyond that, not much. We've had I don't know what you would call it, an announcement trailer that doesn't actually feature any gameplay. Just picturing Alex flipping the table there in Wolverine style rage. But we have had an Xbox Wire post that's giving some tantalizing details about what's ahead, including that Tokyo itself is going to be one of the most dense environments they've ever built. Alex, this was basically a tease, an announcement, but not really much of substance we can actually look at this point.
No, definitely not. Even like the usual stuff that we would talk about in a smaller trailer, we can't really do here because the phraseology on the bottom of the screen saying something like "this is cinematics," which doesn't say in-engine cinematics, doesn't say real-time rendered cinematics. It would be bizarre for it to be a real-time rendered cinematic anyways. Like what they're showing a desk or something like that. Wow, Cargate, yes. We spent all this money on a desk rendering. It's like what are they thinking? Yeah, I have no idea who this trailer was for, especially since it's obvious the moment it starts that it's about, you can just read up online what the trailer says. Like the most important part of the trailer is it says it takes place in a new region of the world. You don't need to watch this entire trailer to get to the end to see that that's the case. You know what I mean? Especially since it has no bearing on the real game. So it is very bizarre. But, based upon the fact that they did mention Tokyo, it is Japan, which, like any country on earth, has a variety of different areas of level how they're built up. But Tokyo specifically, we haven't seen a game from them that shows off the level of vertical density you get in a modern, I would say, city, or even horizontal density. Cities like Tokyo have highways that go up and above, and there's streets below, there's careening, areas underneath things. There's a lot of just dense 3D structures that their games haven't had in the past. And I actually think their current base of technology could possibly struggle doing that. It brings in a whole lot of questions, right? It's really cool to see how they would evolve their technology to cover such an urban area and do it so that it's visually faithful. It doesn't have to be one-to-one. I wouldn't expect that necessarily because games have to be fun, right? Especially a game like this. But they would at least want to convey that thing that everyone has in their mind and people who've been there know what it looks like. So getting that in there, I think, would be amazing.
Sorry, Alex, I've been chuckling throughout that. I've just been having visions of Playground coming up with their next trailer. Surprise, the desk is actually key to the gameplay.
Yeah, you're planning routes on a desk. Or the next trailer is like some other piece of furniture. It's like a chair, You
can play as the koala. Oliver, what do you make of all of this based on, there's not much to go on. There was the Xbox Wire post talking about some of the things you could expect to experience in the game.
Yeah, that Xbox Wire post, I think, is probably the more interesting part of this, where the staff are talking about how they've built the game. And like prior Horizon titles, they say it's going to be a medley of different elements in Japan. So it's not like a one-to-one recreation. Instead, they draw elements, locations, places, themes, biomes from the island of Japan, but not a complete recreation of Japan itself. Seasons return like you might expect, and it sounds like they might make a bigger impact on Forza Horizon 5, which was a little bit muted because Mexico is an equatorial country. So they might have, more of a winter theme, more of a fall theme, kind of more of a mix there. And they announced that we're going to be seeing more from the game in early 2026, which you'd presume, lines up maybe with January, lines up maybe with the typical time that Microsoft has launched their Developer Direct series over the past few years. So maybe we'll hear more about Fable, Halo, and Gears there as well. They'll show off some games. They have quite a packed slate for 2026 actually at the moment, I would say. But it's nice that we, have this game confirmed, know that it's set in Japan. That Forza Horizon 6 and its Japan location, they've both been rumored heavily for years. But I do wish that we saw a little bit more out of this title, even if that's just a few screenshots, even if that's just 10 seconds of footage. I feel like we'd be pouring over them for days and days. As it stands, this teaser, I mean, it's a very brief teaser. It's basically walking you through with a left to right pan of all the locations that have been featured in prior Forza Horizon games with like postcards. And then it pans over to Japan, which is kind of a nice little bit of place setting, I would say. It's a nice little teaser, but it's not really telling you much about the game's graphics. It's not representative of anything in game. I guess it's probably in-engine, and there do seem like RT reflections maybe in some points as well, but it's like, it's a cinematic trailer. It's very hard to say if that's like a statement of intent. I don't really think so. And it's content that you wouldn't see in game. Again, there are like so few data points that you can draw from this trailer outside of setting and place, and you know, that's pretty much it. If they just showed off like 10 or 15 seconds of footage, I'm sure we'd be pouring over it right now and doing pixel counts and talking about it until we're, you know, tired in the tongue or whatever. We'd have a lot more to say about it. As it stands with just the cinematic trailer, it does make you really want more at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there does seem to be a trend recently of Microsoft announcing something and then telling you that the stuff you actually want to see is coming like not too far in the future. It's just a bit frustrating. At Gamescom, I actually went to a gamesindustry.biz event where a whole bunch of marketeers were sharing like do's and don'ts about how they consider marketing to be successful. And pretty much the the major don't was CG trailers. They've run their course. They don't seem to do anything other than frustrate the audience who, you know, you sort of see, oh, wow, announcement trailer, Forza Horizon 6, and then you watch it and you just don't get any value from it whatsoever. It's just counterproductive and actually makes people feel bad and frustrated. It's not great. So I don't know why why Microsoft is doing this. You know, it's just a bit weird. I mean, show the game. It's presumably not that far ahead. I'm not quite sure what they were setting out to achieve here other than, okay, it's Japan. We're in Japan for the Tokyo Game Show. Check this out. Maybe that's all they really want to talk about at this point, but it does seem a bit weird.